Hello everyone, I'm Luton's Deadpool,
And I'm Jasper, and this is Two Sides of Luton.
where we like our eggs sunny side up, like our news.
Oh, right. You joker. Waiting for that, yeah? Couple of eggs.
Yeah, we like our eggs. But
Couple
yeah,
of
so
eggs.
today we are here, as we will forever be, at the Luton Library Theatre. And guess what? They are award winners. Amazing stuff they've been doing. So we've got here the Luton's Best Awards, Leisure, Culture and Heritage Award, which was given to Luton Library Theatre. That's incredible. But not just that, there's so much more. We've also got the Community Awards, where they was awarded the highly commended Arts Award to the Luton creative community, which is again here at the Luton Library Theatre. And lastly, I know so many awards, but they've also been given the Community Business of the Year award. That was presented to Terry Hayden. So big respect to these guys. I love everything at the library. But could you tell us a little bit about what's going on in the library now?
Okay, so they are playing at the Luton Library Theatre. We've got Peter Pan, the Voices of Nubian Queens. We've got Bowie as well.
We'll leave the link. Check out the link. Go and see what's going on at the Luton Library Theatre. Honestly, it's great. What these guys do, I've been to lots of their shows, and they always put on a good show. So please come and check them out.
They are, they're just a solid bunch of people.
Yeah.
We did a documentary about them, and honestly, just hearing about their story and about how they've connected to this place, and how even before I was born, even before I came to Luton, they were here. They were rocking in here. They were building their family, building their kids, and building their community here. And then to hear about the fact that it was ripped away from them, and now it's a coming up story. It's like, you know what I mean? They've really solidified themselves.
Well, you know, we love an underdog story.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't we?
Yeah.
We absolutely love it. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's the pride of Luton, places like that. So, yeah, no, get down to Luton Library Theatre.
Okay, so you were talking to someone pretty. He was dressed up really fancy.
Yes, he
So,
was.
who is this guy?
He's the High Sheriff of Bedfordshire. He's Bav Shah. He's a lovely guy. He's Lutonian. I love him to death. And I got to talk to him today.
Yeah,
so
good
should we
stuff.
check it out?
Yeah, check it out, bro.
Okay, so here we are with our new show and our very first guest on the new show. We have the High Sheriff of Bedfordshire, Bav Shah. Thank you so much for coming and sitting down with us and being part of this new venture that we're on.
Good morning. Thanks very much for inviting me in.
Good stuff, man. So obviously I think the first thing that I think people are going to ask is, what is a High Sheriff? What do they do? Why is it significant? A lot of people don't know about the role, even though it's got quite a storied history. So what can you tell people about High Sheriff?
So the role of the High Sheriff is the second oldest position in the land, and there's a High Sheriff in every county. So we've got 55 High Sheriffs across the country. And the original, job description was being, it was being law, order, and tax collector for the Crown. So it's a ceremonial role now. It's a voluntary position. We don't get paid a penny fist, and we don't get a penny of the public purse for it. So it's purely voluntary. But it's an absolute honour to have the position to represent the people of Bedfordshire and the county and work with our legal and justice system and service and public services and voluntary groups in helping make this county a better, stronger, more harmonious place.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've always known, I mean, my first interaction with a sheriff of any sorts was Robin Hood.
Yeah.
So you've got the Sheriff of Nottingham, right? And your role is nothing like what his role is in the Robin Hood stories, right?
No, it's not quite. No. So Nottingham's an interesting one. So whilst there's a High Sheriff in every county, Nottingham, I don't think they have it anymore, but they used to have a Sheriff of Nottingham and a High Sheriff of Nottinghamshire. And then also London, Greater London has a High Sheriff, but then the City of London has two sheriffs. But apart from that, everyone else has a High Sheriff for the county.
Oh, that's really cool.
But the story behind that was because High Sheriffs were originally responsible to the Crown for collecting taxes in that county. So it wasn't a very popular position. And also if you were law and order. But that's where, we're ceremonial now.
Yeah.
But for the police, you have a chief constable, and the courts, you have judges. But we're the Crown's representative for law and order and justice in the county in terms of supporting people creating better environments.
So I think one of the things that I definitely am interested by, because I know a lot about you pre High Sheriff, because we met before you as the High Sheriff, and I always found who you were quite fascinating because of your background here in Luton, and it makes me really proud to see what you do as the High Sheriff. But what actually inspired you to take on the role in the first place?
So something I was asked if would be happy to be considered for the role, and it wasn't something I'd actually thought of until someone said, "Well, actually, we think you could be a good High Sheriff. Would you consider it?" And I said, "Well, let me have a." I was actually sitting in my shorts and t-shirt at the time, and it wasn't anything I was thinking about. So I said, "Let me look into this." And then I thought, yeah, but definitely not something I thought I'd be doing. Yeah, A, not something I thought I'd be doing, and B, definitely not at this age as well. So I'm 40 now. I was 39 when I started. So as far as we're aware, I'm Bedfordshire's youngest ever High Sheriff, and
That's
one of
really
the youngest in English history as well, as far as we can make out. So it's been really good in that sense that I've been able to reach out to different audiences. Actually, straight this afternoon, I'm doing a school assembly. I've done a few, been out speaking to kind of youth groups, and done another. The youngest assembly I did was to kind of 3 to 9 year olds, and it was really nice to sit and talk to them in their assembly and ask them about what they do in the community, and talk to them about why it's nice to be nice and why it's nice to help others. And I think part of a big benefit has been being younger in the role and being able to reach out to different audiences. And that's why High Sheriffs, we change every year, and we come from different areas, different backgrounds. So it's nice that every year, whoever the High Sheriff is able to reach out to. We're able to, between us, reach out to different demographics in the county.
Yeah, I'm really interested by the interaction that you have between yourself and young people, right? Because I can imagine for a young person, they're not going to really know a great deal about it. And you come in with really fancy suit and a sword and gloves, and it must be quite an unusual experience for a young person. What's the kind of response you get from them?
It's interesting because normally people, because a lot of people don't know about the role, even though it's the second oldest position in the land, people just think I've turned up as an entertainer to events, expect me to do a song or dance or something like that, or just think I'm just like really elaborately dressed for just kind of just I don't know, they just think you're just maybe just really eccentric, but I'm saying, oh, that's a really cool costume. I said, no, it's my uniform. And it's, oh, right, what do you do? I said, I'm the High Sheriff of Bedfordshire. And then this is our uniform, this is what we do. And then it gives me an opportunity to explain. So people are fascinated more because it's not your typical what you see someone walk down the street. And I've been quite, people do quite often see me walking down the street. I ask, oh, that's cool, bro. What's that? What are you dressed like that for? And I was just like, well, actually, it's my thing. All over Bedfordshire.
Yeah.
So the reactions have been interesting. I've kids tend to think, a lot of younger people tend to think I'm a pirate because of my hat, which looks like a pirate hat, or they think I'm some kind of entertainer, or they say, are you the mayor? Are you the town crier? And people say, you've lost your bell. Or someone said they've lost walking down the street in Luton with the High Sheriff of Herefordshire. She was in the area. We came and I took her she was in Luton and passing through, and took her to see the Knife Angel when we had it. And walking through the street, and this guy who was working at the train station kind of shouted out across the road to her, and he goes, yeah, he's lost his ship. And I think you're a pirate, and just randomly, but it's hilarious. But then I said, but it's an opportunity to actually say, no, actually, this is my uniform. This is what I'm dressed. This is what I'm dressed.
It's a great conversation starter, right?
So it is, it's interesting, and kids find it quite funny, and just
So obviously you said a little bit about the ceremonial sort of stuff, but then you do a lot of community stuff as well, like you said about the schools, and I know you invited me previously to your event at the cricket club, which was really fun. But what other kind of things do you do? Because I see a lot of stuff in Luton. I'm not as aware of what's going on outside of Luton because I'm primarily based here. But what other stuff do you get up to?
So a lot of it is in our roles is how we can understand what the community is facing, and how we can build our stronger communities for a bigger, stronger Bedfordshire, but also just mankind, humanity in general. So for example, what did we do? Just sat on Saturday night. In fact, more unfortunately, this position I get to meet so many different people and doing different things. So there's an organisation called Midshire's Search and Rescue, who are a group of volunteers who get called out when, for example, someone goes missing. Police and fire and often call them. I went out on a training exercise with them in Ampthill, and this is volunteers doing things in their own time, just get called out and went out and did the whole exercise of looking for someone in the dark, in the park. There was a scenario of someone who had dementia and had disappeared from the person with, and then actually understanding what people do. Spending time with police. I've been out on shift with the police, the fire service. I'm going out on shift with the ambulance service. Understanding what our public services do. Speaking to those in the justice system and understanding the challenges and what we can do to. Even talking to, sat with the probation service. What can we do to help people? Unfortunately, some people make wrong decisions in their lives and go down different paths. But a lot of people want to actually make themselves better again and overcome that. So how can we help get people to make the best of themselves? And whether they've made, and also even, not just the people who have made mistakes, but everyone in general.
Yeah.
What can we do to really fulfill our lives and help? What can we do just to inspire others? And it's all about just understanding what groups are doing, what individuals are doing, what challenges are out there, and then part of my what I see my role is connecting the dots in the county. So. Another example, last week I sat with Mohammed Yunus from Inspire FM, and we're talking about the show on Send and special needs and community and things like that, and that was an example of where he is involved with cricket for special needs, and I went to an event which was a pickleball pickleball tournament in Dunstable, and the lady I met there was talking about how they want to do pickleball for deaf people and to make it more inclusive. So I put her in touch with him because he had expertise in and contacts in more accessible sport, and then facilitate that conversation. And now they're working together on what they can do for inclusivity. So a lot of it is understanding the challenges out there in our community and what we can do, and because I'm a very firm believer of not, strengthening wheels in what we're doing. If people are doing good work, and how we can put people together to share resources and getting these outcomes, rather than loads of people doing lots of different things when a lot of them are having similar message or similar type of outcome. If we can do things together, stronger as a community, it helps build up relationships between different groups, different ages, different demographics, and we still work together for that greater outcome together.
Yeah, no, that's what I kind of see you doing as well. I mean, it's all over the socials, and I see you physically in person as well. One of the things that I really love about you as well is that every event I go to, there's always dignitaries of some kind that are attending. And I've been doing this for many years now, and I've known previous people who have held very good positions, and a lot of people, and it's no fault of their own, it's a very, very busy role that you guys have. They kind of come, they do the photos, and then they leave. And like I say, there's nothing wrong with that per se, because there's a lot of events that they may have during the course of that day, but the dedication that you show to it, I stood with you at the Love Luton Run Fest, and me, you, and Spider-Man were welcoming people as they were coming over the finish line, and it was such a good day. But then I expected that as the crowd started to thin out, that you would go, but you stayed until the last person, and it was really, really inspirational to see that. And I think that kind of speaks a lot about you as not just the High Sheriff, but you as a Lutonian, right? And that's what I kind of want to see about now is, your history in Luton. Do you feel like that's kind of shaped you into the role that you do, and how deeply you have the connections to the community?
Thank you. Thanks for that. But yeah, I mean, and everyone, there's so many different things going on with different roles. So, and I understand that challenge of there have been times when I've had to minimise my attendance at the time I can give it a visit, but so I understand those challenges and with people getting around and how much they can do. It's just how your day-to-day diary is. You know, my busiest day I've had 8 things in one day, but more recently had 6 in one. So it's just you say practically day-to-day what you can do. This is one of 4 things for today, first thing in the morning, but it's those things, those things. It was great catching up that day at the Love Luton Run, and when you got people, is that last person to finish that finish line,
Yeah.
to cross through it. That was just like really rewarding to see that as well, because that probably may have been I can't remember, their first run or something like that. And this brings me on to where we add value to our communities as well, and how we can support. Because one of the biggest things is that's really kind of opened my eyes even more so this year in doing this role, because I've always been involved in a lot of community work. I was a governor at Woodland School. I was a governor at Luton Sixth Form. As a governor at my old university at Nottingham Trent. I was involved through local youth groups and community groups. So I thought I had a good understanding for what was going on in this town, even because I was involved in a lot of things. But there is so much more happening than we realise, even on our own doorsteps. And this is where we've got so many unsung heroes. So the unsung heroes is, just like that last person crossing the line.
Yeah.
It's those who, in that extra effort, who aren't, and still as much respect to, the person who won it.
Of course.
Clearly an expert and be training an expert in the running. Same thing, like you've got big corporates who are doing great community work, but it's also just so important to celebrate those individuals and those who are the starters.
Yeah.
The whole David and Goliath, the whole
the underdog,
the
right?
underdogs and the unsung heroes are still just as important in completing that mission that they set out to do. So I've been trying to focus a bit more on the unsung heroes, and we do have a lot of those all over Bedfordshire. And it's just fascinating, like people who go out and do stuff selflessly, without knowing who the recipient is. Like I was saying this I went to present some awards for people who've been supporting the food bank recently, and I was saying there as well. I said the fact that people do this selflessly, giving donations of money and food to an organisation is going to distribute it, because they're not saying, oh, I only want it to go to someone from this background or this person or that person. They're giving it not knowing who it is. Same thing I said to the search and rescue people team when I was out with them on this training exercise. I said, the fact that you've, so it's Saturday night in the cold, you could all be sitting at home in the warm, watching TV, feet up, but you're out here doing a training exercise on what you would do to go and save someone who you're going out in the cold and the wet in the winter, and you don't know who, it's not because you want to do something, just selflessly.
Yeah.
Not knowing who it is, that person or that background, but just for the purpose of humanity. Just like just being human and just wanting to help others. So those type of messages, where people do stuff like that without, particularly without knowing who the recipient is. I've come across more organisations like that, which is just really overwhelming.
Yeah, I think that's a really good part, and obviously we'll speak very biasly about Luton in this regard, because I really believe that we've got a very strong character in Luton towards that kind of giving, kindness.
I mean, statistically, there was a statistic last year, I think, came out that Luton's one of the most giving places.
Yeah. It was. I remember there was one year as well when we was in the top 5% of donations on Just Giving, and it's like, it goes to show, through the pandemic, how strong we were as a community. And for me, I see a very, very bright future for Luton in that regard. And I think that we're heading in the right direction. We've got lots of people like you. I mean, I'm really gutted that we can't just keep you as High Sheriff forever. I hope whoever's going to come in next is going to follow what you've done and take the reins on it and do it in the same kind of the same spirit as what you have, because I think what you've done so far is brilliant. I'm really excited to see what you're going to do next as well. I mean, what are your plans for after High Sheriffhood?
What are my plans? This is a voluntary role, so it's. But it's it's giving. I mean, so I've still got my day job, so I need to get back to the day job. Thankful, very thankful for technology that I when I get to events early, I'm sitting in car parks and I'm doing my work and doing the day job from there and getting out and about. But so I need to get back to the day job for a bit. I've kind of taken a year out of the day job, but still doing enough to keep the business running. But someone asked me this. I get asked this quite a bit actually. Now, what would I do? And I need to take a bit of time out, have a bit of a think, and see how I can hopefully make a difference, and with what I've seen in the last year and reflect on it and see, do a bit of analysing what we can do, where I can add more purpose to things, and where I can, I've loved kind of connecting the dots across the community. Another example, like the Kenyan community are very active, and they were looking for, they used to have their events at different places, and I said to them, actually, do you realise there's, that's the African Kenyan community. I said, do you realise there's a huge Indian Kenyan community as well? And a lot of them are meet at the Luton Town Indians Cricket Club. They've got a hall there. So they did one event there. Now they've done a number of events there, and it's brilliant because the Indian Kenyan community didn't realise there's so much of an African Kenyan community. African community didn't realise there's much of an Indian Kenyan community. Now they often meet there, and they're all speaking Swahili together, talking about the old days back in Kenya. But little things, so many different things are happening across this town and county that they're all happening in their own little bubble sometimes, and then it's just connected. So, I find that really rewarding. Like just
connecting.
Another example was I was at Luton Dunstable Hospital, and I got asked to go there to help distribute some of the. There's been so many donors, so thank you to everyone donated presents to the Luton Dunstable Hospital for them to give out to people in the wards. So they'd asked me to come along and help do the distribution. And then just went to the kids' ward, and I said to him, I mentioned to him about the Grow Baby charity in Dunstable, which I went to visit, and that's like a baby bank, like a food bank. People can donate items, and people can come and get them from there. And they didn't know about that, so now they're in touch about being able to help people who come into the maternity ward with items if they haven't got them. So it's all about, but all these organisations that don't necessarily know each other, but they're all saying this is the whole thing about bringing people together for that same common purpose, but there's lots of little wheels spinning everywhere, and I just try to bring it all together. So I really enjoy connecting all the dots. I'll try and hopefully be able to do more of that in some way.
Well, I more power to you. I really look forward to seeing what's going to happen next, especially in these last few months, what you're going to be doing. And man, I'm such a big supporter of yours.
Thank
I love
you. I appreciate it. I know
everything
you've always been a great
Thank
support.
you from the bottom of my heart, and from every person in Luton that doesn't know the impact that you've had. I know that it's going to be felt as time goes on, because you're leaving a lasting legacy of this, and I think there's very big shoes to fill for the next person. So thank you so much for giving us your time today and talking to us.
Sorry, I was interrupting you, but it's thank you to all the people out there in the town who are actually doing these things. It's a thank you to all the people in the town and our communities who are doing these things, because if they weren't doing things, I wouldn't have people to go and see and talk to, and these projects. I call them these, with a lot of these things, unfortunately, I call them what I call my happy, sad situations. I'm really sad to see that certain things are happening. The need for food banks and these volunteer groups to go out and these support services. But on the flip side, very happy to see that there's so many people out there who take the time and come together to be that support in our communities and be those pillars to a lot of people in need. So, huge thank you and well done to everyone in supporting our communities. Let's all really work hard on creating the best of each other. I believe everyone wants to live in a good community, in a good society. So the more we can do to support each other and uplift each other, and just helps everyone live a happier life. So thank you and well done to everyone who's doing their bit, no matter how big or small. It all adds to the bigger picture. Everyone's got their little piece in our jigsaw of life and community, and there's only so much you can do. Some people can do lots because they've got time, money, resource. Some people can't do so much, but you know what you can do, and whatever you can do is better than nothing. So don't hesitate, please.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in.
Absolute
and
pleasure.
Look forward to the next time I get to see you. I'm always going to see you around. But everybody, ladies and gentlemen, the High Sheriff, Bav Shah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. And well done on all your great work. And please do keep showcasing all the great work people are doing. And I'm sure you will.
I will never stop, sir. Thank you very much.
You. Cheers.
See you guys.
That was super amazing, dude. I really, I think what's cool about him is that because he's brown, and you wouldn't associate brown people in that kind of uniform, in that sort of position. So it's really good to see that.
Yeah, it gives people. I always believe that if you see something that reminds you of yourself, it gives you something to aim for and to achieve. So for the young people in our community who are coming from those backgrounds, he's a massive role model. So
Exactly, yeah. And it just shows that you can do so many of these other things, isn't it? You might not want to do it, but it's an option for you. You know, your colour is now represented in the Queen's Court.
Yeah, King's Court.
King's Court.
Close enough.
Close enough. I mean, it was for most of my life. But anyway, it's been a great show.
It's been a great show, hasn't it? I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for becoming my co-host.
Yes.
Bringing this new venture to Luton. It's really exciting. How can people get involved with the new show?
Well, basically, you could just send us an email. Our regular email, and then you can also just DM us at all of our socials. So our Facebook, our Instagram, whether it's X-Force or Two Sides. But the email we've got
Yeah, it's info@xforce.com, and for Two
is general@twosides.co.uk.
Yeah, so anybody wants to get involved, whether you're a local business, you want to get a shout out on here, if you're somebody that's got a really interesting news story, you want to get on here, or if you want to be a guest. We're open to it all. Give us a shout.
Or if you want to volunteer.
Yeah, come and volunteer for us as well. But this has been a great show. Thank you so much, Jasper. And
welcome to the show. Two Sides of Leading.
It's my catchphrase time, man. Stop. Stay classy, Luton.